Hi, and thank you for watching us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and consider other related topics connected to tax. So today I'm going to talk about if, as an employee, you believe that your employer is using the wrong tax code and what you should do about that. Of course, as an employer, this is also important information for you to know so that you know what to answer if your employee asks you this question. So before I talk about that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you will easily be able to refer back to this information if you should need to, as well as finding other information that we have on a whole host of different topics. That regardless of whether you're self-employed or an employee, there is lots of topics to help you there. And of course, even if a topic is aimed at an employee, as a responsible employer, it is useful for you to also have a good understanding of how things work from the employee's perspective, so that you can answer questions, spot any obvious errors in the payroll, and just generally sort of value your employees by having an understanding of how things impact them and how to support them. So back then to if as an employee you believe that the tax code used is incorrect, what should you do about this? So the first thing to mention is how the system works. So the tax code system is applied by HMRC, and it is to make the best effort. It's for HMRC to make the best effort that throughout the tax year the correct tax is deducted from your employed earnings, i.e. whatever you're paid through the PAYE system. So you will mention then that I said it's HMRC's best effort. So HMRC are the ones that know your individual personal financial scenario. So they will know if you have other sources of income, if you have allowances alongside outside of your employment that you're claiming. They will know things like your pension contributions and your any charity donations you make, all those sorts of financial things that could have an impact on your tax code. Your employer doesn't know that. All your employer will know is what pay they're paying you and any benefits they're paying you. So they don't have a full understanding of your financial scenario. HMRC are the ones that have that. And this means that your employer is obligated to use the tax code that they are provided by HMRC. Now, what you will find is if you work for a very large employer where a payroll department will be processing many payrolls, they just simply won't. A lot of it probably will be automated anyway, so they won't actually see the tax code, but they won't simply have the personal knowledge to think, oh, actually this code may not be right for this person. There just won't be the capacity for that to happen. Obviously, if you have a small employer and maybe your employer only has a few employees, then the likelihood is that they may have a better understanding, but still they won't have a full and complete picture. So they are obligated to use the tax code that HMRC has told them to use. Now, if you believe that that is incorrect, so when the tax code is issued, you should receive a letter from HMRC to show the calculation of how that tax code has been calculated, that they've given to your employer to apply. And if you haven't received a letter, or if you've mislaid it, if you log into your personal tax account on gov.uk, you should be able to see a breakdown in there of how that tax code has been applied. So then it is your responsibility as an employee to contact HMRC and tell them why you believe that this is incorrect. and then assuming that you are correct and HMRC need to adjust the tax code, they will then issue a new tax code to your employer. And when your employer tells you that they can't phone HMRC to notify them of a mistake or something that's an omission in your tax code, that is simply because HMRC have not been given any authorization to talk to your employer on your behalf and to take any instructions from them. So if your employer tries to phone HMRC to say that the tax code is incorrect, HMRC won't be able to talk to them. HMRC are only able to talk to the taxpayer directly or anyone specifically authorized to give information. Now, by being an employee, you're not authorizing HMRC to discuss your individual circumstances with your employer. And so your employer isn't being difficult by saying that you need to call them. That is what needs to happen, and they physically will not be able to do that for you. So if you think that your tax code is incorrect, then you should phone HMRC to let them know what has been omitted or what you think is incorrect. And if it is incorrect, then they will update that. Now, the different employers will have different systems that they use to receive those tax codes. Some still are received in the post, some are through a digital notification, and some of the processes allow those to be automated. So what I would suggest is, if once you have spoken to HMRC and ascertained that the code does need correcting, that you just have a conversation with your employer to let them know that there's a new code on its way, and particularly if you're getting close to the payroll date. Many employers will have their payroll prepared a little while in advance of the actual pay date, and so obviously if you miss the cutoff, then that wouldn't take impact until the next time. So the other thing to mention is, if you get a new tax code, that you actually check that at the point you receive it, and don't wait until you get paid and then think, oh, actually, I'm not happy with the amount of tax that's been deducted. So hopefully, as I say, we have talked about this in other videos about how the tax code is calculated and what things to look out for it in terms of checking. But hopefully this helps you to understand, if your employers are using the wrong tax code, then actually you need to contact HMRC to notify them. Your employer can't just alter the tax code used on your basis. They are obligated to use the code from HMRC, and hopefully that helps you to understand why your employer isn't able to speak to HMRC on your behalf. So thank you very much for watching, as always. Thank you. Goodbye.